Hello, all my comic collecting friends. It's Matt, Comic Quarter 410, here doing my response for Howlermouse's favorite John Byrne story tag. And Tim, I appreciate you tagging me. And this is an interesting topic because I actually told Howlermouse the day he tagged me. I'd read on Twitter that Rob Liefeld was insulting John Byrne again, which I know he's a curmudgeon now, and I understand that, but to try and insult his art, especially coming from Rob Liefeld, that's just laughable. And Liefeld said something along the lines of, it's not our fault that John Byrne's deal with the devil expired and he draws like crap. And it's like, dude, you've always drawn like crap. How dare you? I know John Byrne's grouchy and says some crazy stuff now, but one thing you can't dispute is the guy's art was great and how important it is in comics history. People that are, the age of me and Howler and ETA Nick and some of the other people who were alive when this series came out, you remember how important it was, how red hot and critically acclaimed it was right away. And one thing I remember being really young and not being able to afford a lot of these issues was it was extremely uncommon back then in the early to mid 80s for a 50-cent comic book to be going for $30 or $40 a year or two after it came out. But that was the case with Claremont and Byrne's Uncanny X-Men a lot of the time. And it's one of the greatest and most important, critically acclaimed, all that, runs in comic history, and rightfully so. I would even say, as a trio together, Claremont, Byrne, and Terry Austin, it's one of the greatest teams ever to be put on a book. And I was going to pick this. This is part one of Days of Future Past, Uncanny 141. But I just want to show this because this is probably my favorite John Byrne cover. Just an amazing cover to an amazing story. This story blew me away when it came out, and this cover made me have to read it. My brother had it, and I was like, I've got to read that book. And I knew he didn't want me messing with his comics, but I had to read it. So I'm not going to name that as my favorite story, even though it arguably is, because I think somebody else will probably pick it if they already haven't, and they'll probably do a better job of explaining it than I will. But here's another John Byrne cover I absolutely love. And this story is also one I really love. This is Uncanny 133. And this cover kind of tells you Wolverine lashes out. A couple things about this book. It really kind of showed me, gave me a greater understanding, especially, as like a 7-year-old reading this, why Wolverine was a badass and what his powers really were. So at first I was like, yeah, a guy with unbreakable metal claws and a healing factor, fine, but what's he going to do against a Juggernaut? What's he going to do against Magneto? Which is still, in all fairness, Magneto is still a problem for him. But when I read this, in this issue, the Hellfire Club has captured the rest of the X-Men. It's one of the first issues where Xavier lets Cyclops lead the team, and he's home kind of wondering if he regrets it or not and if it's going to be okay, and they're all captured. The Hellfire Club thinks Wolverine's down in the basement dead, so they send all their guards down there, and he's not dead, he's injured, his healing factor's kicking in, and they shoot him and injure him to the point where his berserker rage kicks in, and just the way he took them all out and was being just lethal and stealthy, I was really hooked on the character right then and there. And the other thing about this story, at the end, Cyclops, the leader at the time of this team, he went into a psychic battle with Mastermind. At the end, Mastermind stabs Cyclops with his Psy-Sword, so you don't know until you read the next issue, is Cyclops dead or what? But really, the way they characterized Wolverine and gave him the spotlight and kind of showed what he can do, that is why I really love this issue. And thought it was a great idea because a lot of John Byrne's books, especially at this time, were great. I really also like his Captain America run. but I think maybe one of the people I tag might even choose a cat book, but we'll see. The people I tag, if you've already been tagged or you don't have John Byrne books or you just simply don't feel like doing it, that's fine. But the people I tag are Hippies Collectibles, Full Killer 5150, and Tom Ryan. So thank you all for taking the time to check out my videos. Appreciate it. Thank you, Howlermouse, for starting this and tagging me. Also appreciate it. Everyone take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and enjoy your comic books.